Hello, my name is Hake. I'm a candidate for Congress for District 2 of Oregon. District 2 of Oregon encompasses the city of Grants Pass, all of Jackson County, and all of the counties east of the Cascades. So it's quite a large area. The topic I want to talk about with you now is our movement towards a one world government. This is an alarming thing to me, and it should be alarming to you because we're losing our sovereignty and our Constitution is being disregarded in our affairs, and it's weakening our nation. And sooner or later, you and I are going to wake up and find ourselves subject to international control by some elite group. Now, some people think this is a recent phenomenon. It's not. This has been planned for hundreds of years ago, but it's only become really predominant in the last, I'd say, 15 years, since the Bush Sr., Clinton egged it on a little bit, and Bush Jr. is really pushing it. But what it's trying to get accomplished is trying to get our country assimilated into the other countries, and we're supposed to start thinking of ourselves as a member of a community and no longer as a sovereign nation. And so they commissioned the North American Union, which was a plan pushed by Robert Pastor of the United Nations, Council of Foreign Relations, and there he was trying to get the Mexicans and the Canadian governments to assimilate with us into becoming one country with only an outer border, no inner border. Fortunately, this looks like it may have been defeated, but I wouldn't hold my breath on that. You'd be watching for them. They have a way of sneaking this back in on us. But that was going to be a major step for them, and that was supposed to be done in 2010, or I should say by 2010. So what they have in mind is much like the European Union. They want to get the Western Hemisphere into a body, and then the Southern Hemisphere into a body, which will be started by NAFTA and CAFTA and those other groups, smaller bodies, and then unite them and create a separate country over here, and then sooner or later everybody be joined together into forming a one world government ruled by a group of elite people. You would no longer think of yourself as a person with rights. All the rights would go to the collective good of the whole. So the individual would be nothing anymore. And so that's how you would lose your rights, and that's what they have planned for us. And so if they talk to you about how good this program is, ask them where the United Nations fits in as far as controlling our country. And you'll find that they're going to be the premier organization that rules everything. The fact that NAFTA was enacted in 1993 gives us, 15 years since it was enacted, and we look back now on what's happened, and it was supposed to create an equalization of wealth between the countries so that Mexico could grow and we could grow, and we would shift our primary resource from manufacturing to IT technologies and higher technologies. Well, the plan hasn't worked. Mexico has gotten wealthy. I would call this a plan of redistribution of wealth rather than the equalization of wealth. We've lost, according to the Bureau of Labor, 1.8 million jobs since NAFTA was created, and still they keep pushing it along. One of the things that is helping this go is Bush. Bush keeps pushing the bills, the Congress keeps voting for it, and they even have a system of tribunals that are set up to arbitrate between countries. And the tribunal in Mexico, Free Trade Tribunal, has overruled our Supreme Court decision. Now this is a travesty, and this needs to stop. This is how we're losing our Constitution. The fact that we have already abdicated our waterways to the United Nations, navigable waterways, is a bad sign. All of our parks have been abdicated to the United Nations. So there's a day coming, if we don't wake up and get out of this program, we need to get out of the United Nations altogether. We need to charge them rent on that building. We need to have them either pay rent on that building and have them bring in their people by helicopter. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not an isolationist. I do believe in sitting down at the table and arguing out differences. But I think we should argue from a strong point, and I think we should argue from an equal point. And right now we have nations vetoing us that we give millions of dollars to in foreign aid, and they do it over and over and over again. One of the statistics I seem to recall is Argentina. We gave $2.some million to, and they vote against us 70% of the time. This kind of thing has to stop. Taxpayer money should not be given to foreign nations, for one thing. That's not our job. I'm not saying we should be inhumane when there's a major world travesty happen, like a tsunami that wiped out thousands and thousands of people. We should do what we can within the limits of the Constitution to help. Private industry should help a lot because they have a lot more at stake here if they're really interested in boosting their business in helping with world problems. If you want to see how this all started, go on the internet and look up Agenda 21. You'll find a resource of information there, and they regulate everything right down to cities and how long those cities can water their lawns. And of course it's different for different water areas and different supplies. If you're in a desert area, of course you're not going to get very much, and if you're in Seattle you can probably water your lawn all day long. But the point is, Agenda 21 is laying out a system to control everybody, and we're going to be losing that. The Constitution is our supreme law of the land, and unless we stand up for it and back out of this stuff called free trade, we're not going to have a Constitution very long. And if we are, it's going to be an old document. You just go to the Smithsonian and say, this is what we used to follow. And we don't want that. Our forefathers paid for that Constitution in blood, and we need to stand up for it, and we need to fire every congressman, every senator, every public official, and some of them should be prosecuted, but they should at least be fired for violating their oath of office and allowing something to distract or to destroy our Constitution, to threaten our Constitution. Free trade. If you've got a congressman who voted against or voted for free trade, like Greg Walden's voted for several issues, you need to fire him and get us back on the right track. We need to bring home our troops. We need to get them back into U.S. soil. The only way to say that is we need to respect sovereignty like we want ours respected. And we don't need to go trying to take care of our neighbor's problems unless that neighbor asks us to. And then if he does ask us to, it still has to go to Congress to be decided if the risk is worth it. There's a lot involved in making war. And one of those risks involved is losing our fine young men to injury and death, tearing families apart. And then you need a large body of people that are willing to debate and discuss this and decide if America is in harm's way, or to put Americans in harm's way, is the best course of action. My name is Rick Hake. You can learn more about me at www.rickhake.com. Thank you, and I hope I get your vote in November.